Golden Path, Love, a guide to your Venus sequence. I'm going to go ahead and pick up where we left off the last time. Normalcy, maintaining an even keel. As you begin to work within the layers of karma in your relationships, it's important to maintain the ordinary rhythms and routines of your life without creating too much disturbance. When we first become engaged in this kind of work, there is a tendency to try and do too much too quickly. It is a good idea not to expect too much of yourself. You do not have to suddenly behave differently or perfectly. That kind of sudden change is likely to be only of a surface quality. The Venus sequence changes you gradually from the inside out. Likewise, it may be a long time before you see changes reflected in your partner's behavior. The Venus sequence has more to do with recovery time. In other words, in how quickly you can catch yourself in a pattern, let it go, apologize if necessary, and move on. This is the beauty of working with the Venus sequence, that it teaches you from the inside out. It doesn't have to create any upheaval in your outer life, and you don't have to go out of the relationship in order to have an experience of a higher nature. If you cannot find it right here, right in the heart of your daily life, then it will never have a truly enduring quality. Karmic closure, natural endings. As we have seen, every relationship has its own tapestry of karma. As we unravel the story and follow its lessons, sometimes the story comes to a natural conclusion. When one person begins to undergo a transformation, the partner in the relationship must also move through their own opening. If after considerable time this does not occur, then then it usually means that the relationship is coming to a natural end. When this happens, it will do so in a balanced way, without ill feeling. So often karmic relationships are brought to an end prematurely, because neither partner knows how to transform the shadow patterns inwardly. Natural endings usually bring sadness and are followed by periods of transition, but they can also be gratefully honored for the experiences and lessons they have taught us. The advantage of staying with the karmic process is that if the relationship does end of its own accord, even after much inner progress, then your attractor field will be ready to draw in an entirely new kind of relationship at a higher frequency than you have known before. In a relationship that does not come to an end, there will still be many endings and new beginnings. Often these are marked by significant events such as moving home, or a child being born or leaving school. As the karma of your relationship is followed and transformed, it becomes progressively lighter. Loving becomes more of an ongoing state regardless of the coming and goings of sadness and joy. The rewards of a long relationship in which the karma is continually burned off are truly vast. The final flowering of any relationship, followed to its karmic conclusion, is full-blown spiritual realization through the embodiment of unconditional love. Being single. If you are single, the Venus sequence is also a powerful tool of transformation. Your karma is always there playing out in your everyday life. You will have to be alert to the many opportunities that arise daily from your relationships with others. If you do not have a primary partner at your current stage in life, you can use all your other relationships as your means of transformation. Being alone has its own magic, and your Venus sequence can become just as powerful in an inner voyage as it is for someone in a relationship. The advantage for you is that you do not have the distraction of another person's shadows to continually test you. This means that your own shadows can be easy to see. You have an opportunity to dive very deeply into the Venus stream. As you contemplate a certain sphere, gene key, or line, you may note that it magically manifests in your outer life as some kind of a challenge. Embracing the challenge, you can then experience its hidden gift. Hi, how are you? As you explore your own sequence and get in touch with these feelings, Your journey can become deeply meditative. It can even become quite blissful. This is because you will experience a new level of core stability and will throw out many old patterns. This will in turn revivify your attractor field, which may even draw in new relationships as you purify your consciousness. I am reading The Gene Keys Golden Path Love, A Guide to Your Venus Sequence. This is because you will experience a new level of core stability and will throw out many old patterns. This will in turn revivify your attractor field, which may even draw in new relationships as you purify your consciousness. Whatever shape your journey with the Venus sequence takes, there is great an opportunity in being single as there is in being with someone. Regardless of your dharma, your destiny, the goal is always the same: the mining of the unconditional love that hides deep inside your DNA. A natural pause. Before going any further into your Venus sequence, there is a natural pause at this point in which follows important information concerning the ways in which our shadowed patterns are laid down during the cycles of our childhood. This section is of a mystical nature and unites many streams of wisdom, both ancient and contemporary. You are recommended to take your time in digesting and contemplating it before launching deeper into your Venus sequence. The sacred wound and the doctrine of the Sanskaras. A common thread to many of the world's creation stories is the notion of the sacred wound. This is the idea that every human being carries an aspect of suffering on behalf of the whole, and over the course of their lives, as they learn to heal this wound through the lessons of love, so they bring healing to an aspect of the whole. The Venus sequence is a profound personal investigation into the sacred wound that you carry on behalf of the whole. It can show you the specific pattern and story of your deepest challenge in life, and it aids you in understanding it and healing it. In the ancient Vedic traditions, there is a mysterious doctrine known as the Sanskaras. Traditionally, your sanskaras are seen as sense impressions or unconscious imprints left over from previous lives. In the Venus sequence, we might view the sanskaras as a biogenetic sequence of codes that you inherited at the point of conception. As aspects of the sacred wound, your sanskaras are like a series of subtle memory slates stored inside your being, and each one refracts your view of life like a lens. Without your sanskaras, you would see life as it truly is, infinite and pure. However, your sanskaras skew your view of reality, making your life more challenging. Thus, your sanskaras must be understood, purified, and transformed over the course of your life. This is their true purpose: to unlock the pathway to a higher consciousness, and to release the enormous healing capacity of the heart to love unconditionally. Your Venus sequence shows you the precise nature of your sanskaras as a sequence designed to be unlocked in a specific order. The Venus sequence reveals to us how our sanskaras distort our awareness through the stages and cycles of our childhood. The unconscious patterns of the sacred wound are laid down in a sequence, and they can be unlocked and transformed in a sequence. Each stage of your sequence, therefore, has a gene key in line that corresponds to it, and each of these gene keys carry a story about that phase of your childhood. As you contemplate these gene keys and their themes in relation to your childhood, you may come to see the very forces that have shaped your life and relationships up to the present. This is a powerful journey that can bring about a profound inner healing. An introduction to the 7-year development cycles of childhood. From this point onwards in your Venus sequence, you will be metaphorically traveling backwards in time through the various developmental phases of your childhood. We humans operate out of 7-year cellular cycles. Even though different cells are renewed at different rates, the majority of the cells inside your body are replaced every 7 years. This is where your hologenetic profile becomes fascinating, because it gives you archetypal themes for each of the 3 main cycles from the point of your birth to the age of 21. As psychology has long known, our shadow patterns are rooted in our childhood. However, what the Venus sequence also shows us is how they are imprinted in our very DNA before we are even born. I'm going to go ahead and stop that right there. Thank you so much for being a part of this live stream. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and or join. It is popping off on the tiers, and I am looking forward to seeing you on the next live stream or video. Be well, stay wild as well.